All right, so now your video is done in terms of animation, and what you want to do is make it a video that can actually play outside of After Effects. Here you can see the animation that I've created. I left some of it, I left my M letters up so you could see some of the keyframes. Again, didn't have to be a ton of keyframes, just enough to make the stuff move and do the things you wanted it to do. One of the things that I want you to take time to do is to truly understand what the keyframes do. And what they are is they're telling that, you know, the right angle on the M, the opacity should go from here at 0 to 100 or vice versa. So that's 100 to 0 there. And that's one of the things that you really need to understand is how the keyframes really work. And at the end, as you can see down here, I have built my wall so that the words will come in the way I want them to. Again, to animate, you start by building your wall, you build backwards this direction to do the things you want so that at the end, your text is right there where you need it to be. Again, there's so many cool things you can do inside of After Effects, but this is just barely touching the surface. So after you've watched your video all the way through, and take the time to watch it all the way through, you want to export it so that it can be played, so it can be uploaded to YouTube. So what you do is you go to File, Export, and I always add to Adobe Media Encoder Q. And what that does is that opens a different program that actually its only purpose is to encode video to do to look the way you want it in the formats that you want it. So again, it's another program, so it's going to take a moment or two to open. So while it's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and kind of review the different pieces of the After Effects workspace. Down here you have your layers panel, your timeline, the different colors here I created by just clicking here and choosing the color that I wanted for each of the letters. They're all locked, so I can't edit them. So that's what happens in the timeline. Here in the composition window, that's where all the video portion happens. And then over here in the project window is where all your assets are stored. So now, this is Adobe Media Encoder. Again, there's tons of stuff that you can do in here. We won't scratch the surface because what it's going to do is it's going to put your video right here in this queue. And again, it takes a minute or two. Don't be impatient with it. Let it do its thing. The key is that you do it this way to make sure that your video is small enough to where it can export out on your computer, get it to YouTube, and that way you can share it with me. So the first thing you want to do is check this right here, H.264. Make sure it's H.264, all right? Match source, that's what you want. You have all these different presets. Match source, high bit rate is what you want this preset. Now, this is the most important thing. Output file. If you do not set this, sorry, getting emails. Lots of emails apparently. If you do not set this, you will not know where your video is. You'll get frustrated. You'll call me and I'll ask you, did you change the output name? And you'll say, what output name? So, output name. Click here. See, it says Desktop After Effects Training AME. If I go to Desktop, and there's the After Effects Training AME. AME stands for Adobe Media Encoder. So it's going to go in that folder, and I'm going to call it Animated Name Movie. I always use underscores between words. You don't necessarily have to. Just make sure you don't use the dots or periods in your title there. So hit Save. And now I am going to hit the play button. And down here, it will connect, do all of its magic. I don't know how it does it. Reading XMP, again, don't know how it does it. But you will see your video here, and you will see how much time you have. And you can see that that 1 minute video is going to take about 2 minutes to export. The reason is Adobe Media Encoder is making a mathematical equation for every pixel of every screen for every frame. So it takes a couple of minutes to do that. But what you're guaranteed is that when you're done, your video is going to be great. It's going to be exactly what you wanted it to be. Not only because it does that, but because you can actually see that it's doing what you want. There have been a lot of times that by watching this window here, I have caught mistakes that I've made, and I've stopped it, gone back and fixed them before I got it to the client or to a project that I was turning in or trying to use for something else, and then been upset because I thought it was going to do one thing and it didn't. So this is going to export. It's going to be in that folder. When it's done, you'll hear a wonderful sound. And that's it. You'll upload that to YouTube and then share your link with me on the assignment. All right? So finish your names animation and get ready for Kinetic Typography, which is right around the corner.